when we
That's correct.
when we
did.
decided to make him our financial,
Okay.
the village our financial.
Fiscal agent.
Thank you. I knew there was a term for it.
So that's just a change over time, and again, staff can prepare perpetuation of this for 18, and, or if things develop where you want to have an independent look at a budget, pending initiatives or other activities that are known that are different from that, I mean, we can certainly adopt that at some point.
When will we do that, Mark? Because, so I think what I hear is, based on our MOU, we have these certain numbers that he plugs in, correct? Like the 7.7 for finance, for our fiscal agent, certain amount that we get, we know we're going to hire a bid to do the facade grant program. Is there a time we can look at it before the budget is fully adopted? Is there one time a year that we can look at it? So if we did say, decide based on, Rebecca's new annual planning visioning, if we pick, say, a housing project or something, and we need it in a different line, when would be the right time to do that?
Well, whenever the CDA would choose to consider adopting a budget, which they have not done for 18.
Oh,
So, again, this budget amount is reflective of with consistency for the original transfers and anticipated costs contemplated there. We have done nothing beyond that. It's really, it's a template baseline based on those original dollar transfers and the justification behind those.
well, I'm thinking that since we have now our financial policies and we're ready to, we have our own money, right, the CDA, separate from the village board, so we probably should adopt a budget. I'm just asking, when would that be? Like, what's the right timing? Is it the same timing as the village
Well,
board?
ideally, I would advocate perhaps November of last year.
Okay, but that didn't happen.
Yeah.
So,
And an opportunity to capitalize on that is that once you do set your priorities,
Yes.
doing it following, kind of, you're in an in-between spot, so you have to start somewhere. So to Mark's point, we would do that in conjunction with the other budget process, and we could lay out a timeline for that for the CDA. But I think it's important that you prioritize first, because your budget needs to be reflective of your priorities. So that could be a logical next step for this group.
That makes sense.
If
Sure.
we're on the same page?
absolutely.
Okay.
So I do have a question though, for the, for financial fees, it's, I think it's the 5,107. What does that entail?
Well, the notes say it's audit hours and annual CDA report. Off to the right of that.
Oh, okay, so audit is a different contract, right? Who does our audit?
Well,
Same.
Sickich does the municipal audit, and as part of the MOU, the CDA agreed to pay a portion of fees just to include that in the municipal audit.
And I'm guessing since, so then the annual report pays the rest of it.
That would, I mean, I'd look at specific line items, but in general, I would say that would be pretty accurate.
And do we pay them, this was the conversation we just had, do we have another contract? Do they do anything else for CDA hours?
Not recently. Not recently.
Is it like our bond council or something?
Well, I mean, they used to assist in evaluation of development proposals, things of that nature, but we haven't had any of those in the last couple of years. So it's really been, their participation has been with the development of the CDA annual report, the analysis for TID closures, those schedules, as well as the updating of the narrative portions of that report, printing report, and presenting it both to the CDA and to the village board.
And then they have a joint review board once a year, they go in front of them?
That's not once a year, that's required.
Well, last year,
Oh,
the state law actually had to
that's right.
change. They don't go in front of a joint review board unless requested. But pretty much the state law now requires that we must convene the joint review board at least once a year to review the annual report. Last year, did they review the annual report with the JRB?
They did,
We did.
Okay,
and the village has taken that as a municipal cost at this point. And that's another, I believe that went to the finance department. It was a fairly nominal, because all the analysis has already been completed
Yes.
for
Mm-hmm.
preparation of the CDA reports, so it was really just meeting time.
Okay, thank you.
Also, following that, financial schedule, I've attached a summary of the CDA's business loans. Over time, there's 4 open loans with 2510 Capital, Mark Sweet, North Star Bistro, Kensington Liquor, and the Northwoods Group. The only real comment I'd like to share with you at this point is that, for the 3rd time in as many years, Kensington Liquor has defaulted on their loan. They're several months behind on their payments. So we've taken a variety of actions in the past, and it has not seemed to impress upon that business owner to make consistent and regular payments on that loan. At the end of the day, they've always caught up, but should you want to consider taking additional actions, again, we could schedule that for a future meeting.
What does that mean, like, how much does that cost us in the past versus, like, is there, how much did it cost us to take action?
Well, there's some nominal interest or legal costs on generating some formal letters. Otherwise, it's really just a status that he's failed to make his payments on a regular and timely basis. By definition, he's then defaulted on his.
How late, I'm just curious, how late is it been months?
5 months late. He's got 5 outstanding invoices
and that's this year,
so far this year.
and this has happened for 3 years?
Well, he tends to be caught up before his liquor license is issued.
Which is July.
And we've been fortunate with that, because that would be a challenge to tie those 2 items together. So I would not advocate deferring any decisions until July on that matter. So,
Just curious, is there anything within the structure of our loan program, and this loan's been out there for a number of years, where if someone is late, there's some type of penalty assessed for that?
I do not believe that's built into your loan program. no.
Can you put that like a,
Other than the fact that we can recover legal costs
okay.
should we default.
Yeah, maybe we can discuss this in another meeting, but I think it's worth, if it's been a habitual thing, to address this. We can-
I would agree with you.
Yes.
Yeah, change it.
To have some
I would
teeth
agree with
to
you.
our,
Yeah, and also the legal fees should be,
Legal fees is in the language,
okay.
but language such as when in default, interest goes from 3% to 12%, we don't have that type of language.
When I spoke to Mark with this before and reviewed some of the documentation, as a local government, we're not used to being a bank. So I just don't know if we kind of took that operational perspective perhaps when we implemented the program. But the program is deficient in having criteria that's non-subjective, that kind of when you get to a point, here's what happens.
right.
So I think it would be, if you're going to continue to desire to do programs like this, or even with this one, I would strongly encourage you to put measures in that. Because it's always challenging when an individual business is before you. I mean, you want to evaluate that criteria and make decisions on it before you are presented with it.
Right,
Yeah.
I agree.
Just for background though, when we redid the loan program last year, in 2016, we adopted it in November, okay, so it was about a year and a half ago. Sewer Pack is our partner. I'm shocked that, when we did look at the default, we did. We went over that with a fine tooth comb. Pete Petrie was here, to do that with us, so I'm shocked that it didn't come up.
Like a structural, like if you're late,
Yeah.
X, Y, Z happens.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
I didn't bring the program
If I
document.
can't remember.
We definitely talked about
We
it
definitely talked about default, and we,
in the
in
new program.
the new program, not the old one. So I don't know.
I don't know what,
I don't know what came
I
out of
didn't bring
it,
my
but I just
document, I
gotta
should've.
start recommending
Well,
things,
a part of me, when I looked at it with Mark, because, knowing your skill set, this is not the CDA. But,
You're speaking of the current
Yeah.
program, right? The current program document is you.
I'm speaking of his loan program.
So, okay, so that's the prior.
Oh, it's
Okay.
prior.
Well, we should double check the current program.
Yeah.
Make some adjustments to it, we need to.
Sorry
I didn't
about
bring my
that, I forgot
folder.
that was the original.
Yeah.
When Sendex went into default, it cost us a lot of attorney fees to follow up on that.
Which they paid.
Which they paid. Oh, okay, so that's when I asked, all right, so anything we would incur, Kensington Liquor would pay, so that's why you're saying that it's very minimal. Well, what would be the next step, Mark, if the CDA wanted to,
Why don't you get it on the agenda and we can make some recommendations at that point?
And I do have one other question though. So I know all the loan terms are structured differently based on the need. Mark Sweets is, we issued it on the 2009, and it looks like we gave a 10-year program, right? How do they still have $73,000 outstanding?
I would have to look at the specific loan repayment schedule, but I would guess there's some sort of a balloon payment near the end, or step up.
Can you look at that?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Good question.
It would just be nice to know how they're structured.
On open book, it says defaulted, but they didn't default on the whole amount, but it's unclear from the chart. Then they pay some of the loan.
I don't have a clear recollection of that, but you're right, it's a summary status report for that. So I don't want to necessarily imply that they defaulted on the entire amount loan. That was not my intent.
There's some ancient history. Yeah.
oh, good.
That predates me. Here.
Okay.
You were born though.
Okay, so I think we have a few follow-up items with respect to business loan summary and some of the specific loans on here that we'll take up at a future meeting. Are there any other questions on that? Thank you for this. Mark, this is helpful to keep track of. Okay, last agenda item is update from the Planning Development Department and the bid. First is Bart's update. This, so again, very much appreciate this summary of the activities that's gone on. I think this is great to see. This is, I think, the type of stuff that we end up talking about at the end of the meeting, and it is maybe a little more informal, and so I think having this right here to walk through is helpful, and members can ask any specific questions again. We kind of want to keep it to what is, actionable by the CDA, or what is specific, to our responsibilities here. I know something Rebecca and I talked about, I know that particularly the board members, you get asked a lot of questions out in the community about what's going on, so I think that is the balance we're trying to find is, what do we have as actions in front of us, and what particularly do you have as being able to be responsive to the public when they ask you questions. So I think this is very helpful to see, again, some of the key activities that have been going on. So if you have any specific comments on this, or if the CD has any questions on it.
Are we talking about page 49?
We are talking about page 49, yes.
You want to just give us?
It was a busy month.
Sure, I can do our item, or I can just go topic by topic. Met with Peter Vines, who came in for our regions, and we grabbed him for a quick meeting to get an update on his proposed health clinic and his issues with negotiating a lease conversations with Pat's in terms of asking price and improvements that need to be made. It sounds like we're kind of at a impasse right now, and so he just came in and expressed some frustrations with, the process of where that's moving forward, so I don't know that it's fully, off the table yet, but that's some frustration on that.
Or can I just interject on this or with the question? At one point, you discussed having some type of fee associated with vacancy. And I can't remember, did that get kind of tabled with the change in administration?
Yeah, and I'd be happy for greater clarification or direction on that. My understanding is that it wasn't moving forward, but if I'm wrong on that, it really wasn't.
I don't know. There's some discussion around it. I think it was one of those things that had to be fine tuned and then had to go before the village board. But I wasn't sure if it was, people said we don't want to do this or.
From my recollection, and I know Eric probably has the best recollection of all,
Yeah.
she helped draft it, or drafted it. But I thought we were gonna wait for the new village manager and the new planner to get on board. And then we were going to re-engage. I don't think there was any
Yeah,